All right, senders, we are live. And on the segment podcast tonight, I have my special guest, Mr. Steve Caballero. And yes, it's true. The rumors that you hear is that Steve Caballero has started mountain biking, and we'll definitely get into all of that. And it's really hard to introduce this gentleman because, one, he's a legend in the skateboarding world, but he also does so many other things. And there's so much more to Steve Caballero than the legendary skateboarder. So I wanted to just I wanted to open it up to Steve Caballero to just give yourself an interview or an intro of you and say what's up to everybody.
Hey there. Um, I'm Steve Caballero, and I'm a professional skateboarder and artist, motocross rider, mountain bike enthusiast now,
Yes.
and play music in a band.
Yes. Yes. And the band is called
Urethane.
Urethane.
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of relates to skateboarding a little bit.
Yeah.
We just started the band just recently, and we've already gotten signed by a little small label that's run by a member from NoFX.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Caleb.
What's up, Caleb Caballero in the background, everybody?
I'm in the kitchen, so
that that is awesome.
he's trying to get a drink.
And Caleb is following after his dad's footsteps, being in multiple sports as well. I've seen footage of him. Obviously, he's a great skateboarder. I've seen him on the scooter. I've seen him on the BMX bike. Caleb, I saw him on a mountain bike as well.
Yeah, we
Kids
went to
all over the
Sweetwater
place.
together.
Yeah,
Rides
yeah,
dirt bikes, and he's really into gaming right now. That's his thing.
yeah.
So
Chip off the old block, doing
trying
everything.
trying trying to get him off the computer these days and back to action sports.
Yeah, he would have had a great time today. That's for sure. We'll talk about the ride today. That was something else. I see one of our fellow flockers or flock mates in the crew today. Mr. Adam Mock is on the line. I see him on there. Here we go. Check him out. Saying to you, Cab
Hey Adam,
Renaissance man. We got Double
great
R. He
great
says,
meeting you today.
"What's that?"
I said great meeting Adam today.
Yeah, he was. It was awesome to have him out there. He brought the stoke for sure. Um, Double R says, I've been looking forward to this one. What's up, Double R? Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Griffin, Vu MTV. It's Cab. Likewise. Oh, you know this guy right here, Cab.
Yeah,
What's
Joey,
we
we missed
Mr.
you today.
We did, brother. We did. We had a terrible time though, Joey. You didn't miss out on anything, right, Cab?
Surely did miss out on the rain.
Yeah,
we got
at the end of the ride.
we got rained out a little bit, but we got some riding in. It was
We
fun.
did. We did.
Yeah.
And we also have on the line MTB Rad Dad. He's got an awesome YouTube channel. Actually, just rode with this guy, Adam Miller, at Greer. And we were actually following you guys, but you guys were ahead of us. We were climbing up when you guys were going down Overdrive.
I had some technical difficulties that day. First ride down, I smashed into a rock and I smashed my whole sprocket and my derailleur, and it was just downhill, literally downhill from there. Um, no, it was a bummer. But then Jeff from YT took my bike and reconditioned it, and got a huge surprise today. Got some new, even more components on the bike that made it just even better.
Dude, that bike looked amazing. When he wheeled that out, I was like, holy cow. That, oh my God. We'll definitely have to get into the bike. In fact, here's a good one here. Here's Isaiah Bernstein. He's actually asking, how do you like the new decoy?
I love the bike only because it's got some weight to it because of the battery, and it's because it's pedal assist. I love the way it feels in the air. I love the way it feels when it's planted in the turns. I ride a lot of dirt bikes, so I'm used to a bike that's heavy. So when I'm riding a real light bike, it just feels like it kind of wants to get away from me. But an e-bike definitely makes me feel more comfortable on the trails, in the air, in turns, and I'm loving this bike, a lot. It's definitely has given me a lot more confidence riding, and it's definitely helped me push it to the next level when it comes to downhill mountain biking.
It's amazing to watch your progress too, because you're a different rider. You and I rode the first time together at the I don't know, are they gonna call them the YT trails now, or at the San Clemente trails?
Yeah.
And watching you ride then to watching you ride today is like a whole different person. What would you contribute that to, just more time on the bike? But even that more time is a short period of time.
Well, let's answer his question real quick.
Yeah.
Isaiah says, "Have you ever ridden it from full to dead?" I have. I rode it for 37 miles, and I made a mistake of putting in boost a few times, and it ran out of battery. And I was in Palm Canyon, and I almost thought I had to push the bike all the way back up the mountain. I was so scared that I wasn't going to make it back up. So yeah, I have. It definitely lasted a long time, but when you're in boost mode, it really takes the battery down. So you kind of want to leave it more in trail if you can, and eco even more so. But there's a lot of people that aren't really into e-bikes, and they definitely feel like they're cheater bikes. But I tell you what, I get a full workout when I ride one, because I ride 2 or 3 times as much, and you're still pedaling. And when the battery does go dead, you're pedaling a really heavy bike, so you are definitely getting a workout. Yeah, I highly recommend one if you love mountain biking, because you're definitely going to get the workout. Um, but back to your question, Mark. I think seat time has a lot to do with it. I
Mhm.
think trusting the bike that you're on. And just having it set up for you makes a huge difference in confidence, and more so even when you're riding with people. um, the people that you ride with will help push you to that next level, and I've found that even in motocross, if I'm riding a new track and I'm not really sure of this huge double, it's really comfortable to follow somebody
Mhm.
off a jump, so you kind of know the speed. So the way that I've progressed downhill mountain biking and clearing doubles that I'm not sure of is just following somebody and making sure you're going the same speed as they are. So you're not guessing, uh, because obviously there's consequences if you come up short, and there's consequences if you go long.
Mm.
So definitely, I have to say, a lot of it has to do with who I ride with. That's making me get to that next level.
That's a good way to answer that. That's so true. When you get towed in, it's nice, and being able to not have to guess at that speed, like you said, it's very comforting. And then the trust factor too, when you're riding with folks that you trust, that helps a lot too.
Definitely. and
Yeah.
um, and I try to hook up with people that are skilled and know the plays, because that's another thing too, is trying. I've been riding a lot of new different places, so guessing what's around the next corner is a feat in itself if you've never been down that trail. But if you're following somebody, um, you can at least see ahead of you and see what's going on before you get to that next turn, what's coming up. And what the thing I love about mountain biking is it's really helping me with motocross, because it's really teaching me to look ahead, which is
Mm,
very important when you're riding a dirt bike, is to look ahead and not look down at your front tire. Because when you're on a dirt bike, you tend to just look down to see where you're at, especially if you're in ruts and
mhm.
stuff. And it's really important to look ahead.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. And then too, the cardiovascular part of the mountain biking, does that seem to help out when you're doing moto as well?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I have an acoustic bike as well that I can use for cross training as well. But you know, the more and more I get into mountain biking, the more and more it's not so much about the climbing, but it's about going down and going
Mm-hmm.
fast and jumping big jumps. And when I first got into riding, it was more about climbing, conditioning, um, and I would avoid the trails going down with the jumps because I wasn't comfortable
Mm.
jumping. You know, it was a little scary. I get a little bit more scared jumping on a mountain bike than I do a dirt bike, even though I'm going 5 times further on a dirt
Yeah.
bike.
Yeah, I've
There's
seen
just
some footage
something.
of that.
What's that?
I've seen some footage of you on the motorbike, and those jumps are big.
Yeah, you know, I always tell everybody, you know, if the jump is huge, just give it a little bit more gas, and the faster you go, the smaller the jump gets. You know,
less
so
less time, yeah.
less time in in the air, and I'm kind of understanding the same thing when it comes to mountain bike. If you kind of keep trail speed, you're going to hit all these doubles that are coming up that you don't really know. So I think it's really important to keep the trail speed, and I'm still trying to trust my tires and trusting going fast in the corners, you know, because it's also teaching me not to brake in the corners as well. And I tendency to do that in motocross.
Mm,
And I feel like I'm always on the brakes on mountain bike because I just don't want to go off a cliff or,
right.
push a berm. Um, so, I just think I need more seat time, and that'll teach me to lay off the brakes and start trusting the berms.
It's incredible how quickly I've seen you progress in the last month and a half or so, Cab, since we first rode together. It's insane to me how quick it is. And when I see you, I know it's you, and then when we're riding, I know it's you. But I'm like, damn, he did that this time, and he did that this time. It's always you're picking up something new, and you're always doing it with so much stoke. Like today, it was that new jump with the little PVC pipe towards the
Yeah.
bottom, that double.
Hmm.
And then the jump at the top of the jump line where we were today, we were in the San Clemente area, and you did that. You didn't hesitate to go off of that. And then you did the canyon jump too. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Just because I just knew in my mind that that's something that I wanted to do, you know,
Hmm.
and you just have to have a positive mental attitude, when it comes to activities or sports that are risk taking. You definitely have to have a mindset about yourself that you can't be afraid of the consequences, or you're never going to get to that next level. And
Mm.
I think confidence plays a big role when it comes to accomplishing goals, and I try to use that mindset with everything that I do. I think it's very helpful, but sometimes it can bite you because you can be overly confident
Mm.
and do something that's over your skill level, and that's when you get hurt.
Mm.
And when you're progressing to another level, the consequences are heavier.
That's true. Yeah, faster and bigger, you know.
Yeah.
Um that that now when you talk about the confidence mindset, for the folks who know, I'm pretty sure everybody that's going to be listening to this podcast or watching this now knows who Steve Caballero is, but they may not know that he learned a lot of these lessons early on in life. For example, Steve, when you went pro and you joined the Bones Brigade, you were saying you were 14 years old,
True.
right? 14 years old, and you were already traveling, and you got into the public eye pretty quickly. And there was a lot of like, everyone knows Steve Caballero with the pictures and the pro and the, being on videos and stuff. But probably what they didn't realize is behind the scenes how much sacrifice and hard work that takes. Could you tell us a little bit about, the lessons that you learned there through sacrifice and hard work? Because otherwise it's just easy to look at it and go, of course, that's Steve Caballero, of course, but kind of behind the curtains, all that hard work. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and the mindset behind all that?
Well, I meant, I think passion and drive have a lot to do with being successful. When you're very passionate about something, you tend to like want to practice it and push yourself because you enjoy it. Um, but then you quickly learn that the things that you're doing sometimes can be very hazardous, and there's a lot of pain and suffering from falling and getting hurt, and you have to be a special type of person that willing to go through that pain um, for the glory, you know.
Mm,
And what I've learned uh, in skateboarding is you fall a lot before you succeed.
mm.
So you're definitely a failure every time you go out and try something. So it's kind of like more of a fail to succeed mindset,
I love it.
because skateboarding is difficult, you know, and the tricks are very hard, and you have to do them repetition over and over and over until you get the right thing. You know, sometimes you can have some people kind of guiding you and showing you what you're doing wrong, but really it's up to the individual um, to figure it out. And that's me. I'm a type of person that likes to figure things out. That's why I love chess. Chess is a really great game. It's a really a good game of like thinking ahead uh, about your moves, thinking about what move can lead to the next move, and when you link everything together, you tend to learn. Um, what's the word? Um, you kind of learn the tricks of the trade, and you kind of learn what works and what doesn't. Um, and you know, some people don't do that. They don't put themselves in that position because they're afraid to fall
Hmm.
or or they're embarrassed. You know, but once you get past of not focusing on what other people think and just kind of
Mm,
focusing on what you're doing, um, you're able to progress to that next level and succeed. Um,
mm,
it's just not, you know, not being afraid to look like a fool you know, at first, until you get the skills to accomplish the goals that you set for yourself. So I learned that really early age, skateboarding, and I've applied that to everything that I do in my life. So when it comes to skateboarding, when it comes to motocross, now mountain biking, music, art, you got to be able to put yourself out there and put yourself in vulnerable situations where you're going to get criticized um, and looked at as a failure. You know,
mm.
so I've been a failure my whole life, but because of that, I've learned to succeed through that.
Man, I love that. That's such a great lesson. That's the gold in that conversation is it's like you're failing forward. And I love how you, if for anybody who's on the line who has skateboarded or has a sport where you're consistently failing to get better, you know, it's really conditioning you for the future and trying new things. And I think Cab, you're a great example of it because when you look at when someone looks at Steve Caballero, somebody put in here Renaissance man, and I love that because you're not afraid to try new things and you're not afraid to fall in love with these new things and have such a great time doing it and learning and being new at it. But it's almost like you're letting your mind just think about what you're learning to do and enjoying it. And then henceforth, you fail and you learn and you fail and you learn. And then next thing you know, you're jumping the canyon gap. You're jumping the doubles, you know, you're kicking butt. So
Well, you know,
I
it's definitely it's a goal. It's goals that you set for yourself, and it's like you come back to fight another day. You know, and I just know that um, you know, I know that you can progress to that next level if you have the courage and the desire to, and I do. And when I see my friends doing things that I want to do, it just helps push me, you know, um, to that next level. And I think about it. I think about, wow, you know, I'm glad that I made the effort and I put myself in that position, because now I can have a story behind it, walk away, and maybe also encourage somebody else that may be struggling with the fear of believing in themselves or thinking that they're not good enough. But everybody's good enough if you just put the work into it. You know, you just got to put the work into it, and you have to really have confidence, man. Confidence
Yeah,
plays a big role.
I love it. And not be afraid to be new at something, and it's okay to fail. It's only like a complete failure if you quit it, right? If you quit that thing, you're like, I'm done, I'm quit, then that's the end. But if you're like, okay, I went left, I should have gone right, and you go back at it again, you go right, and then you level up, and then you put in the effort. I mean, it's great. I always think about the folks, and sometimes I get caught in that trap too, where I want to try something new, but the fear of starting or the fear of failing is so overwhelming that
Yeah.
you don't even do anything. And then time goes by, and maybe down the line, somehow you start that thing and you go, God, I wish I would have done that a long time ago.
No, fear is very paralyzing. You know, it can keep you from doing the things that you really want to do. And one of the big lessons I learned from a childhood hero, Evil Knievel, um, he always said that you're never a failure until you refuse to get back up. You
Mm,
know, last year I broke my femur motocross riding, and 11 months later, I broke my ankle
oh, dang.
riding motocross, the same riding area,
Oh,
and you know it definitely did a number to uh, my thoughts and my thinking and how dangerous it really is. But you gotta, as an athlete, you have to block all that out, you know. And I have, and I know that there's consequences. I know it can happen again, but if you want to progress to that next level, you have to really block those injuries out. Like I have my whole career in skateboarding. I've gotten hurt my whole life, but I've blocked those injuries out, and you just try to forget about them. That you like they never happened.
is it a mental strength that you build when you do that, or is it more of a positive self-talk like that that may not happen again, or do you what's the trick for somebody who's
No, I
trying to
know it's
do
going
the
to happen
same?
again. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Okay.
Um, but it's definitely a mental thing. It's definitely you do talk to yourself a lot, and you do convince yourself that you can go through this and pass through this and overcome your fear of what's keeping you back. You know, and I've done this my whole life. And I've discovered a lot through motocross as well. I mean, that's a real dangerous sport. I know what can happen. I've seen people die. I've seen people get paralyzed.
Oh man.
You know, I know that those are consequences that can happen, but the risk outweigh all that. I'm just enjoying life, and I'm just enjoying what life has to offer, and the technology that we have with motorcycles and bikes and skateboards are amazing. The terrain that we have is
Mm-hmm.
incredible. So our life's short, and I just want to live it to its fullest. And I want to be the best person I can. And if I can encourage and inspire somebody else to do the same thing, um, so be it, and more power to them. But I try to use my life as something that someone can look forward to and say, like, hey, Cab's 56, and he acts like a 16-year-old still. You know,
I
um,
love it.
you know, I don't feel like that sometimes when I fall and get hurt because
Dude,
the
you popped up
injuries.
today pretty quick, man, on that one fall.
I mean, injuries back in the day used to, like, you could brush that off, in an hour or two, but now if you get injured, it turns from weeks to months.
Yeah.
So that's something that I have to always realize. Being an older gentleman like me, it's just like it's just who we are. But I want to encourage people that age is just a number, and you don't really have to feel your age. You
Mm-hmm.
can feel a lot younger by staying active, um, eating properly, staying away from drugs and alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just try to live a stress-free life. I feel like living a stress-free life is beneficial and helps you focus on what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, that's really important point that you make. The drugs and alcohol, definitely, we know that's bad for the system, especially if it's abused heavily on the alcohol side. That's no good. The stress thing's something that slides under the radar all the time because we have such busy lives and we want to, grow to be this or that. And when we're living these stressful lives, it's just so bad on our bodies, all the different chemicals that we put our bodies through under stress. And I noticed you had sent a couple of text messages where you had a picture where you're like best time of the day, and it was like this beautiful picture of like the backyard with how you have it landscaped and the sun setting. So it tells me you take time to mentally like shut it down or reflect. Is that a normal thing that you do, Cab, to help keep the stress down, or how do you best keep stress down?
Um, don't sweat the small stuff.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
only small stuff. Um, and yeah, definitely self-reflect. I'm always reflecting on how the day went. What could I have changed? What could I have done better? Um, even food can become an addiction. Food's
Mm.
dangerous, man. It's really damaging to your health if you're eating the wrong thing. So, as a younger kid, you didn't really think about that, and your metabolism is high, and you think you're
Mhm.
invincible, you know. But as you get older, your metabolism slows down. You don't exercise enough. You want to be more convenient with your eating. Sugar becomes part of your diet where you start to crave it more.
Mm.
A lot of those things affect you uh, health wise, and they can make you sick. They can keep you sick. They can keep you from healing quickly. Um, food's a very important thing that I think people take for granted a lot. You
Mm.
know, a lot of
Yeah.
people eat based on their taste buds, and a lot of people won't make changes because things taste so good. I always
Mhm.
hear people say like, "Well, I can't give that up. It tastes too good."
Mhm.
And that's honest answer. I mean, that's how addiction is. That's why people can't stop drinking when they're addicted to alcohol. That's why people can't stop taking drugs when they're addicted to drugs, because it feels good to them. And why would they want to stop? But little do they know that these things that they're doing for short-term pleasures is going to hurt them later on in life, and that's where wisdom comes in. And I
Mm.
don't have to try everything in life to know that it's bad for me. I just got to look at another person next to me and said, like, that guy lived his life that way, and I know that those things can affect him in a negative way, so I don't even want to go there, you know.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and it always kind of bums me out when people pass away or people have died for certain things that people want to be hush hush about it, because they're trying to protect the family, they're trying to,
Mhm.
but they're not honest about why this person's life is cut short. And I
Yeah.
think if people would just not try to paint everybody in such a great picture and just let people know what they're struggling with, what their addiction was, that you're not only helping that person, um, but you're helping other people that may be struggling with the same thing. So if you keep everything hush hush about why someone's no longer with us, it's not doing um, other people any benefit, except for
Yeah.
making someone look good without helping others and teaching people like, well, this person lived a certain lifestyle. That's why his life was, or her life was cut short.
Yeah. It's almost like they bury the lessons that could be learned and passed on to others by not being transparent with what really happened.
Mm.
And yeah, that I see that could be very dangerous, for other
We have a
people who.
question here.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
this is great.
Oh, it says,
Um,
hey, Cab, if you could travel back in time, what would you say to your 14-year-old self?
Yes.
I would say stretch every day
Oh yeah.
because I am the most unlimber person, and I'm not dedicated to stretching. It actually takes work for me to get my in that routine of like stretching before, stretching during, or stretching after an activity. Um, because I feel like I could be a better skateboarder today if I could just bend down and grab my board in a certain way when I was 14 years old. Now at
Mm.
56, it's a lot harder to tie my shoe, or put a sock on because I'm not limber,
Mm.
and the body starts to tighten up if you don't use it, So I would say stretch. That's the one thing I regret um, not doing my whole life is taking care of my body that way, stretching.
Stretching. That's good. And this question is by the Miltonator. By the way, the Miltonator, as you will learn about all these different mountain bikers in this community, the Miltonator is one of the foundational folks that we have in the community of mountain biking. He has a great YouTube channel. In fact, he is
Awesome.
joining us as he's driving home. He's got an hour commute home, and the Miltonator is listening to it right now.
What's up, Milton?
Yeah. He actually sent me a text message the other day. He said he saw us riding together and he wanted to tell me that you were a huge impact on his life
Awesome.
growing up. And he looked up to you in a lot of different ways for a lot of different reasons. So you have a lot of great positive impact on a lot of people, including Mr. Milton right here, who's giving you
Well,
the
I'm
high
I'm
fives.
5'3", and if he's bigger than 5'3", I'm looking up to him. I'm a
Milton,
short dude.
we'll have to get you out on a ride, Mr. Miltonator. You're gonna get blown away by Caballero here. He's an amazing rider. Um, yeah, so stretching for a 14-year-old definitely is important for all of us. The stretching to prevent injuries, become limber, and to move our bodies in ways that we need to do, and especially in these active action sports that we're doing, because we could probably reduce a lot of potential injuries if we're nimble.
No, a lot of pull muscles, a lot of sprains. You can avoid that by stretching properly and making sure you're limber. And like I
Yeah,
said, you can accomplish more if you have the flexibility in your body, and you probably, you won't hurt certain parts of your body, especially like when you get older. I always hear a lot of people with back pain.
hmm
Um, so, I mean, as an athlete, I put a lot of stress on my body, whether it's my ankles, my knees, my hips, my back. It takes a pounding, everything that we're doing.
yeah. No,
If,
you
if I
right.
drop my 450 on the ground, I have to bend down and pick that thing up. That thing's not light, when I'm on the track. And
Yeah,
I fall a lot on the track, because I'm always trying to progress and I'm trying to learn to be a better rider. And sometimes it takes falling, to
yeah.
get to that next level.
See, everyone, failing forward. That's failing forward. Isaiah Bernstein is with a group called the Trail Dogs, and it's a group of fun mountain bike riders. And Isaiah is actually a Marine, and he is awesome. I mean, he has a couple questions here for you, Cab.
Okay.
Um, First question he says is, as a mountain biker, do you think getting on a dirt bike would help with confidence in the air and being able to throw your bike around while you're up there?
Um, well, I started dirt biking. Is he saying as a mountain biker getting into motocross, or motocross getting into mountain biking?
It looks like it as a mountain biker, if he got on a dirt bike and started dirt biking, would it improve his ability to throw his bike around in the air on a mountain bike when he comes back to mountain biking?
Well, I know on a dirt bike, you actually have to lean off the bike to get the bike, to be able to throw it around. Um, I know that on a mountain bike, I don't have to, like, that thing wants to go sideways. It doesn't want to stay straight,
Yeah.
So I find it the opposite. It's a lot harder for me in the air on a mountain bike than it is on a dirt bike. Obviously, if you can throw your a 450 around, you'll definitely be able to throw a lighter bike around. But being able to throw a bike sideways, that's just the first part. Bringing it back is the second part, and that's the hardest part. So
Mm.
I watch a lot of mountain bike videos on YouTube now, and I see guys whipping it sideways, but sometimes it's not coming back, and they're landing sideways on the
Yeah.
trail.
Right.
Sometimes we do that on a dirt bike if you don't do it properly, and it can go bad. You can swap out, and
Mm.
go over the bars. Um, I find them both differently. They both take different techniques. On a dirt bike, your feet are parallel. On a mountain bike, one foot's forward, one foot's back. So right
Mm.
there, I'm off balance when I'm going
Mm.
off a jump. And it's funny too because I'm goofy foot in skateboarding, so I have my right foot forward and my
Mm-hmm.
back foot pushes. But when I'm on a mountain bike, I love putting my left foot forward and my right foot back. So it's just weird. I have
Wow.
a different stance on a mountain bike than I do on my skateboard. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
weird. It's weird. I'm a weirdo like that.
You'd probably be great at the drums. That'll probably be your next musical instrument. You could do left and right brain, no problem. um, Isaiah also says right here, let's see, he had another question. Here we go. So far with where you've been riding in your mountain bike journey, he's asking, what is your favorite place to ride so far?
Ooh. You know, I'm so bad with favorites because people always ask me that with skateboarding. What's your favorite skateboard park? What's your favorite ramp? Where's your favorite motocross place to ride? When it comes to mountain biking, you know, um, there's a lot of different terrain, and each terrain caters to itself and the fun aspects about it. I'll tell you the fun places that I have been riding. Sky Park is one.
Nice.
That's a great place to go to, where it's got one trail up and you got about 5 or 6 trails going down. A lot of variety there. Greer is a new place that I've been going to lately, and I'm starting to learn that place.
Yeah.
San
Yes, you
Clemente,
have.
because I go all the time, I know the place now. Um, I used to ride Calavera Hills a lot, but that was before I was really heavily into jumping and doing jump lines. So, I haven't really been, to too many places um, other than Greer, San Clemente, and Calavera Hills, Um,
Yeah.
but I do want to branch out, and I want to go to Snow Summit,
Woo!
sometime. I want to go up to Whistler. My friends
Oh,
invited me up there to Whistler to go ride. So it's almost like I'm kind of training right now before I get the opportunity to go to these bigger, because I know they're going to be bigger hits and stuff. So,
mm.
um, my mindset is to get faster, go bigger, um, and that's what I plan to do.
That's a
So.
that's a great goal to have. As the Miltonator would say, who's on the line, go fast, go big, don't die.
Yeah,
uh,
but the equipment's amazing. Like I just got that new YT, and that just gave me even more confidence because of the upgrades they put on the bike. You
yeah,
know, um,
yeah,
so that's just going to push me to that next level. Like today, you saw I jumped 2 or 3 new things today that I never had done before going to San Clemente.
yeah.
And one of them was the big gap at the top.
Yep.
The road gap, I just towed in by Jeff Taylor from YT. The other one was where Zabo was going down on this one trail, and it's a rock to rock jump going down. I'd always go around that, and today I went over. I followed him right off of it, and the bike soaked it up great. In jump line, there's that one where um, there's a right, a middle, and a left, bigger one, and I always normally just go in the middle.
Yeah.
And the first time I went down, I went in the middle. I saw Zabo go on the right, and I'm like, next time I go down, I'm going on the right, and I was leading, he was behind me, and I went for it.
Dang.
So
Dang.
just just trying to push myself to get to that next level each time we ride.
Yeah. And I see it too, because I've been riding with you pretty much every time we get able to get out again, and every time it's like, gosh, man, Cab's putting in more time because he's like, what? Whoa, I don't think I can follow him anymore.
Well, I mean, hopefully it's encouraging you and pushing you to that next level.
It
Um,
is. Oh man, it definitely is. And you got me on an e-bike today, pushed me to get on the e-bike. And I wear this heart rate monitor. It's called a MyZone, and it's supposed to be 99.9% accurate to an EKG. So I can
yeah,
see what my heart rate looks like, how long I'm in each zone. And so obviously it goes like blue for warming up, and then it'll go yellow for intermediate, and then red is when I'm in my highest beats per minute.
yeah.
And I hit a lot of red today on the
Oh,
e-bike.
really?
Yeah, it was like a lot of yellow and a lot of red. And it was very similar to my acoustic ride. When I ride my acoustic bike, I get
Yeah.
the same type of results. And in our ride today, I burned 1,300 calories on that e-bike.
Well, you're
And
still
I even,
pedaling, man. You're still
so
pedaling.
yeah. And
Yeah.
contrary to my original thought was, I probably not going to be working as hard. I'm getting a lot of pedal assist, but when I saw the results on my zone, I was blown away. And I was also blown away that I was breathing so heavy, and you guys were just like chilling. Hey, what's up? Yeah, that was it. It looks like it's gonna rain today. I'm like, dude, what? We're on the same e-bike, right? Yeah, that's you still get a great workout
You do.
on that
And
bike.
a lot of it has to do with your mindset going down. Like, are you gripping your grips really hard? Are you tensing up? And I think a lot of it is being relaxed and concentrate on your breathing. And I think that translates. I mean, I do that a lot with skating. I have to really concentrate on my breathing, especially when I'm on the dirt bike around the track. I can't be gripping my grip. I have to like grip with my knees, more let the hands be loose because I'll get arm pump. But
Mm-hmm.
just you can't hold your breath. You know, um, it's a no-no when you're breathing heavy and exercising. You have to keep that breath going, which calms you. It keeps you
Mm.
calm as well. So practicing good breathing techniques, I think, helps. You know, when you're pushing yourself at those levels.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that. And it was funny because it was you, Zabo, and then Andrew Travers, who is like this prodigy kid. And
Yeah.
then you had Adam Bach and Adam and I are like trying to keep up with you guys. Here we are with these like, legends, athletes, and Adam and I are like, yeah, yeah, we're good, we're good. Hey, Joe Yates here says, hey, wait, what? When are we going to Whistler again?
Soon
pack
this summer. This
pack your
summer,
bags, Joey. Get that passport ready.
let's do it. I have a friend up in Bend, Oregon that wants me to come up there, and he's going to take me to Whistler. So
Oh my god. Would
yeah.
that happen to be one of the Joes from our ride at Greer? Is that
No, actually, it's my friend David.
okay?
But Joe, I'm actually going to meet up with him this Monday and Tuesday because we have a video shoot for Yoshimura.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
we're going to do a thing with mountain bikes, motocross, skateboarding, art, and music in a 2 day
Yeah.
shoot.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun. Is that gonna be on video? Can we catch that anywhere after, or is it for Yoshimura? Then they're gonna release it however
Yeah.
they need to.
Yoshimura will
Got
put a nice piece together, and then they'll just spread it out all over the internet any best way they can. But I'm just happy that I have the support of those guys, and they're into what I'm into doing, and it's just great, man. I mean, it's a blessing to have good people behind you,
yeah,
and I just want to repay the favor by helping promote their products and help push what they're trying to sell, you know.
yeah. No, and they've
Um,
got They've got great products, Yoshimura. If you guys haven't heard of them, we're going to talk about them here in a second for sure under the product spotlight with Cab. Cab, you got a question here. This actually, I think this is my cousin, Meredith Raquel. She's saying, "Hey Cab, my daughter and I are huge fans. Not riding related, but what's your morning routine like?"
Well, is that my week with my kids or my week without my kids?
Oh yeah, two different. Cover both, because she's got a daughter. So what's it like with the kids, and then
Well, with the
and what does
kids, I
that
have to
juggle
wake
look
them
like?
up for school
Yeah.
and get them breakfast and make sure that they're doing their online schooling. When they're not here, I can sleep in or do whatever I want. But as a parent, I got to make sure that that I'm the responsible dad that's getting them up, getting them fed, and making sure that they're logging into their school. Um, but you know, I'm on a diet right now or different eating programs, so I tend to skip breakfast, and I'm on like what's it called um, when you only eat from a certain time, intermittent fasting.
Uh-huh.
I try to eat from 12 to about 5 or 6, and maybe eat twice a day. So in the morning, it's basically get up and make a cup of coffee, and either shoot, I don't know, um, watch TV for a little bit, or answer emails or check my Instagram and think about a post that I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, Instagram is part of my job. It's how I promote the products that I endorse. So I'm constantly thinking of new material to put out there, and just promote the people who support me. And I'm in a lot of industries. I'm in the music industry, motocross, mountain bike, and skateboarding and art. So I'm always trying to make posts that relate to all that stuff, and they're trying to sell products, and they use me to help sell them and push those products. This is something I learned at a very young age when I was 14, when I first got sponsored by, Powell Peralta. I knew that the only reason why they wanted me to ride for their team was I was able to actually help them sell products. So I knew that
Mm-hmm.
if I was a good spokesperson for the brand, that people would recognize it and want to purchase anything that they sold. So I've been advertising things my whole life. That's what I do for a living. And that's what I get paid for.
Yeah, and you're good. You're good at it, and everyone loves you. When they see you and know you and what you represent and how you do it is it's so good. Um, Meredith, my cousin here, also wanted to say the first time I attempted to go down a half pipe was at Mark's house. I had a half pipe when I was a kid,
Awesome.
and that was fun. Got another comment here. Summer B says, "Great interview. My husband is a Cab fan, so I had to drop in. Love his positive inspo."
Oh, thank you
And
so much.
and we also have a special guest who just popped in. This is one of the big MTB YouTubers going to pop in to say hi to you, Mr. Caballero. You know this guy. I'm going to add him to the stream right now.
Hey,
Yay!
how's it going?
How's it going, Alan?
It's good. It's good to see you.
We've been missing you out on the trails.
Yeah, I know, man. Our schedules have just been weird. It's too bad. Yeah. We got to get out there again.
For
Yes.
sure,
Oh,
for sure.
that's your famous dog. I see that dog all the time in your
This is
Instagrams.
this is Oliver.
Oliver, what a cutie.
Say hi to Oliver, everybody. He's been chilling with Cab. So cute.
What a cutie.
He's looking at
Cool.
my snacks in front of my computer. That's what he wants.
Oh, that's
so
great.
so Alan, MTB Alan, everybody join the show. This is awesome. Thank you for jumping on, Alan.
No, my pleasure.
This is great. We
I
were
just got
talking.
off
Yes.
I just got off the line with a daily MTB writer talking about everything. We're just complaining. We just like spent like an hour complaining
Oh
about stuff.
no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, it's good you came over here. This is the positive mindset side where
Yeah.
we got good vibes. In fact, what's awesome is that Cab and I were at YT today, and we got to ride e-bikes. The whole crew was on e-bikes, so we got that e-bike stoke. And
Nice.
my cheeks, dude, my cheeks hurt still from
Was
all
that
the
your
smiles.
was that your first e-bike ride?
It was. So
It's a different animal.
it is. I loved it. So, you know, Jeff Taylor comes out. He's the president of YT, and
Yep.
he wheels out a decoy to me, and he turns it on. For all of you folks who are watching right now who haven't been on an e-bike, this was a great way to experience it for the first time. He turns on the bike, but he keeps it in off mode, and he tells me, go ahead and pedal around the parking lot a couple times. So, you know, Cab and Jeff are watching me, and they're already kind of smirking. And I come around, and then he puts it into boost mode, and he goes, go ahead and pedal around some more. And man, I was like 0 to however fast I was in so short period of a time. And as I'm accelerating, my smile just like lit up. I don't know. What did I say, Cab? Like, what kind of wizardry is this?
Cab, you were on a older Specialized when we rode at San Clemente together. Did you go straight from that to the decoy?
Let's see. I want to. No, I was. I had the stump jumper, you know, and I rode that for a while. I don't know why I didn't have it that day. I think because I didn't. Oh, you know why I didn't have it? It's because I didn't have. I was only borrowing it for the first couple of times.
Okay.
So just like what Mark did, when they were open, I would go there and Jeff would let me borrow it. And he would say, hey, when the new ones come in, we'll try to set you up with one. So I would leave, give the bike back to Jeff. And I did that like 3 times. And the time that I went out with you guys, I think it was on a weekend and they were closed. Yeah. So I just brought the stump jumper with me. And I could already feel the difference of the lack of confidence on that bike. So I was very timid that the first day I met you guys and rode with you guys. I didn't do the stuff that I did before on the decoy. But Mark has seen the progression.
Man,
dude's jumping everything now. There's no hesitation out there.
Yeah. I've been watching the videos. Yeah, it looks great. It's just too good.
So at one point, you know, Jeff said, hey, you know what, why don't you just take this bike? And I'm thinking in my mind, that's what I wanted to do in the first place. I don't need a new bike. I'll just use this loaner, you know, this used bike. It's better than what I'm riding, you know. So when he told me that, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm so stoked. I get to actually take this home and ride it wherever I want. Yeah. And that's what started boosting the confidence. And because I was getting seat times, getting used to the bike and knowing it. And like I told Mark before, just riding with different riders and following these guys helps push you to that next level. So if you want to get better, you got to ride with someone who's better than you. Or
totally, 100%.
Has definitely got more courage than you do.
No, you don't. You don't want just more courage in front of you. I've done that before. You can end up into some bad places. It's funny because Joey Yates is talking about y'all wanting to hit Snow Summit this year, and I think first off, 100%. Like I love Snow Summit. Have a blast up there, and we'll love to show you around. Not that it's that hard to find your way around, but they just updated kind of how they're treating e-bikes up there. So if you don't have a DH bike or another bike, I think now they're just letting you to take an e-bike up, because before they wouldn't. And they just ask you to not go on the backside or anything like that. So it makes it a lot easier, because I know people were on e-bikes were having a little bit of trouble up there for a while. So I think they've mellowed it out.
Well, you take a lift up, so you really don't need an e-bike up.
No, it had to do with the fact that they lease the land from the forestry from is a national forest, and technically on national forest trails you're not allowed to ride e-bikes. So technically when you're at Snow Summit you're in forestry land.
I see.
So I guess they had to kind of figure out the legal stuff, because at the
Mhm.
time e-bikes were still pretty new, so
Yeah.
they finally figured it out, I think, last season.
Okay.
But I like there's some trails off the backside, like Fall Line and Pyre's Plumber's Fern, stuff like that. And like those, you're not supposed to take an e-bike onto those trails.
Okay.
But Blue Steel, Party Wave, Westridge, like you don't need to go on the backside.
Yeah.
You'll be
No,
fine.
I was watching YouTube and I was watching Gain the Life of Twitch. He's a motocross rider, and he went out to Summit with a bunch of guys. And that's when I kind of looked. I'm like, oh, that place looks fun. I want to go try that.
Yeah.
Go ride there. So just looking at the jumps and sizing them up, I feel like I could have a fun time there because I feel like I'm at that level to be able to ride that place.
Oh man, you'll have a blast. And the cool thing about that place, especially like Party Wave and Westridge, and especially now with Blue Steel, like even if somebody's not at the level, it's built to like get them to the level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of progression there.
Man, by the time May, June comes around and it opens, that might be me, Cab. You might have to start towing me into stuff at this progression rate.
No problem. Just like seat time. That's all it is.
I love it.
Just
So on this part of the podcast, we were going to jump over. Alan, there's a section now on the podcast where I have somewhat of a format, which has been great, but I wanted to jump over to the spot where we have Product Spotlight. Product Spotlight. That's right. And Cab had a couple of folks he wanted to mention for Product Spotlight. I always love to have this on the podcast to give love back to the people that are giving love to the guests. And Cab, what you had two, I think you wanted to spotlight tonight.
Well, here's one of them. This cookie.
Oh, what is that? That cookie gives love to Cab.
It's from this box, and it's from my friend Hannah from Canada. She sent me these. So I want to spotlight this cookie because it's great.
Shout out to Hannah for the celebration cookie with chocolate on there. Look at Ollie is like, hey.
I'm kidding. I forgot this is a mountain bike podcast.
Oh no, cookies are mountain bikes, man. Cookies are mountain bikes.
Yes, you burn those calories. You're allowed to have a cookie or two.
I think I worked it off today.
Yeah, we did. There's I know one of the companies you said you wanted to spotlight was Yoshimura, and Alan and I were actually on that ride at San Clemente when one of the guys from Yoshimura was there. Because remember, Alan, we went as we were heading back up again heading back up to one of the trails. The Yoshimura van was there, and the guy was letting us look at those new pedals. And I think, Cab, you just had like a test run photo shoot at Sky Park. Was it highlighting that specific product? Was that what you were doing there?
And that guy's Biggie. Biggie I've known for a while in the motocross industry.
That's right.
He's hooked me up with all my exhausts for all my motocross bikes, the Yoshimura pipes. And I was trying to understand the connection between mountain biking and motocross when it came to Yoshimura. And I believe that Big E invited the vice president riding one time, and he fell in love with the sport of mountain biking.
Oh.
And he's an engineer, and so he designed a pedal. He wanted to design something for mountain biking, and they came up with a really cool mountain bike pedal, and that's what I rock today. And they work really well, especially I wear Vans, the half cabs, and very grippy on those shoes. I don't like what do you call them, clipless or I don't like to be clipped in. I like to be able to move my feet around. So I like flats, and Yoshimura makes a great flat for BMX and for mountain biking.
Is that a new component into the industry? Alan, maybe you might know this. Is Yoshimura a newer entry?
Yeah, that's a new entry. They're branching out into. I don't know about the company, but like, yeah, you didn't hear about Yoshimura before in the mountain bike industry, in the mountain bike world. Yeah, it's just like One Up or Crank Brothers or like that. So like it's nice to see. Yeah, it's nice to see that. It's not that, and like the moto companies that have come into mountain biking have like done really good things. So that's cool to see, because there's that crossover and there's that understanding.
Well, they take, Yoshimura takes a lot of pride in their exhaust systems. They build exhaust systems to make their motorcycles perform the best they can, to beef up, the power band all the way through. So, in that sense, when the vice president wanted to do something for mountain biking, he felt like he could make a really good pedal that people would like, and you'll definitely be hearing a lot about them because they're great pedals and they look great too. They come in all different colors and combinations that you can make them, match your bike the way your bike is, the color situations, and right now they're pretty small. They're kind of doing hand making them here in the U.S. So I don't know if they're going to branch out and make them super huge. But right now it's a real very limited item. Right now it's all U.S. made. So.
Those are going to be launching. I know that they have some pedals out now, but are the multicolor ones coming out in April? Is that what they were targeting a launch date for? Or somewhere along the lines. We got to sneak peek them when we rode with you in San Clemente.
Yeah. And the shoot that I did at Sky Park was to help promote the pedals, and they hired a professional photographer named Simon Cudby that got some amazing shots.
Yeah.
And they just hired very talented people to showcase their products, and I'm just very blessed to be a part of this program, to be highlighted as well as an athlete that uses these things. It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Pretty stoked.
When we got to sneak peek those pedals, I think they were on Colin's bike. Biggie had them on Colin's bike. Mm-hmm. And what I remember about them is that they weren't, like when we talk about flats or clip-ins, these weren't flat. They were actually concaved, and it felt like I was stepping on a skateboard in a sense. Like it was like a comfortable concave feel. And I think that was unique from what I remember. That was unique to that pedal to me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I got to get some of these, but then I realized that they're not available yet.
Not yet. They're still trying to produce them, so we're just testing them out.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Are you giving them feedback on the pedals? Like any kind of like testing feedback for like adjustments or anything?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No, I think they already have riders that are more skilled giving them feedback. I'm just trying to help promote the product. But I think they kind of get the feedback by looking at the wear and tear of them. But definitely, they definitely ask like, hey, how they feel, and they feel great,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I have a little story to tell. Can I tell a story?
Absolutely.
Are we still doing product stuff? You're obviously not going to remember this, Cab, but you were in Tennessee, and this was in the 80s, and there was a bunch of kids, probably this happened to you all over the place, where a bunch of kids with skateboards were getting signatures from you. I think Tommy was there. And me and my buddies really wanted to skate with you. So we were trying to give you our phone number.
And this is before cell phones too, right?
Right. Yeah. Just like our home phone number. And then you were like starting to sign it. And we were like, no, that's our phone number. Give us a call. Let's go skate. We were like just outside of Nashville, and it was like, we know all these cool spots in Nashville. Come skate with us. And then you guys are like, cool. Just thought I'd relay that story.
That's funny. Yeah,
well, Alan, you were
on a PAL summer tour.
Yeah.
At that time, traveling across the United States and a
That's
tour
great.
event. doing demos and skate shop signings.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to
What else?
fanboy too much. It's just like that. Like I only ever bought PAL boards, and it was always like a cab board, and that's
Yeah.
like all I would. Okay, one time I bought a Tony Hawk board. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but then I came back to the cab. Uh, yeah, and I
Yeah,
got to
that's
ride
great.
with Lance. I got to ride with Lance once in Nashville too. That was cool.
That's
But
rad.
yeah. Anyway,
Alan,
sorry. That's my fanboy moment.
no, it's great. I mean, this is positive impact from Steve Caballero, just being Steve Caballero. You know, Alan, you shared, I don't know if you felt comfortable sharing a little bit about Cav's impact on you growing up in Tennessee. But if you want to, that's perfect time. And I thought that was a great story.
Yeah, so and I was brown in Tennessee, and so there was, I don't know what it's like now, but in the 80s there was quite a bit of racism, and like you just kind of always grew up feeling like a bit of an outsider. And then I would look at any movies or TVs that I watched, like if somebody was brown, they were a side character or a comic relief or something like that.
Mhm.
And you were like the first person that I remember that was like, this is a somebody who has breadth and depth and is like well respected. He's like one of these top people. Everybody loves this guy. And I know we don't share like an ethnic background, but he like, at that time it was like, you kind of looked like me. And I was like, oh, I don't have to be a comic relief. I don't have to be the side character all the time.
Mhm.
I can be the main character in my life, and that was kind of cool. And I have to admit, for a while I did try to look like you when I skated.
Did you bleach? Did you bleach the hair and have it?
I tried. I did try. I did try to do that at one point. But I used to like kind of tilt my head over a little bit and then skate like that. I went to Kona Skate Park in Jacksonville, Florida. We used to go there like every summer, like a little me and a couple of guys would drive down and stay down there. And who was it? I can't remember. There was a pro skater there, and he was like yelling at me. And he was like, "Hey, Cab." And I was like, he knew he wasn't you, but it was like the biggest compliment I ever had. I was like, I know he doesn't think I'm Cab, but it's funny.
Well, the thing I loved about skateboarding was whoever was involved in it back when I was first starting, it really didn't matter the race.
Mm-hmm.
Where your background that you came from is if you rode a skateboard, you were a skateboarder.
100%.
I used to live on the east side of San Jose, which was predominantly African American and Hispanic, and not a lot of Caucasians. But then when I went on the west side of San Jose, mostly Caucasians and less minorities there. And that's where the skate parks were. And that was my introduction to rock and roll. I didn't listen to rock and roll when I lived on the east side and hung out there. It was mostly like R&B, soul, disco. We didn't listen to rock. But when I got into skateboarding, I discovered what rock and roll was, and I wanted to fit in to all the guys that were skateboarders. So once I left that side of town, I asked my mom to take me to Tower Records, and I got AC/DC, Aerosmith, and Cheap Trick tape.
Nice.
Because that's what skateboarders listened to.
Yep.
They didn't listen to Michael Jackson, the Bee Gees, the Commodores. It just didn't really go quite well with skateboarding. And then from there, it turned into new wave, and then from new wave, it turned into punk rock, and that just changed my whole life. It got me into playing music. I started a band at 18 years old in 1982 called The Faction, and that's when I started playing an instrument and learning all about how to write music and record. So,
Wasn't that 2Cab when when you started The Faction? Were you a guitar? Did you try to learn the guitar and then you switched over to bass?
Well, I wanted to play guitar, but it was too too difficult. Like learning how to make a chord, and I was very impatient, and I found out that bass was a little bit easier because you just use one or two fingers, to play the bass. So I'm like, oh, I'll just start playing bass. And I remember being in the studio with the Faction and recording our first EP, and I look back and reflect, and I'm like, dude, I've only been playing music for like 6 months, and here I am recording with these guys.
Dude.
And I'm in a band, and I'm playing. And the punk rock attitude was the full DIY attitude. Same with skateboard. It was like, you don't wait for it to get signed. You make your own records. I used to make my own magazines. I used to make my own T-shirts, my own stickers. I mean, I learned all that at a very young age. I became an entrepreneur even back then. I knew I could make a profit and make money off things. So I would, even on the Faction tours that I went on 1984 and 85, I had my dad print stickers, and after our show, I would be out at the van selling stickers for money to eat and stuff.
Wow.
That's rad.
I screened my own T-shirts and would make T-shirts. I made my own zine.
Dang.
Back in the early 80s to trade with other guys around the U.S. that had their own little skate scenes. And mine was called Skate Punk, and it had skateboarding and punk rock in it. And I would do reviews on all the local skate not parks, but skate spots. And then if I'd go to a gig, I'd write a review of the gig, of who played, and so even back then I would do like little art doodles and stuff. So even back then, I always had this like thing of like just creating and doing things, not waiting for other people, but just taking an initiative to go out there and make stuff happen, and I'm all about making things happen. I like starting things and making them popular, and seeing how far you can take it, see how far it goes. I started making these salads on Instagram, and I made them a lot because I was on a diet, and people started joking and calling it the cab salad, and I started hashtagging cab salad to a point where a good friend of mine who owns a pizza joint in LA said, hey, I want to market this, and we'll sell the cab salad at my pizza joint, a Pizzanista, my buddy Solomon Aga. And now he makes T-shirts, and he's selling T-shirts and sweatshirts, and that all just started with me just making a salad.
Dang.
And I just kept repeating it and kept adding new things, and it just goes to show you force feed things into people's minds, and it becomes popular.
Yeah.
You can make
And
something out of nothing.
I just got an email, I believe it was last night, from Vans, and it said, support your local shops, and it was a collab with Vans and Pizzanista.
Yeah.
And it was a shirt with a cool graphic on the back, and then Van shoes that had Pizzanista all over it.
Yeah.
So
that's my buddy Solomon Aga, and he actually rides mountain bikes too. We ride dirt bikes together. I've known Solomon from San Jose from the early 80s. He used to be sponsored by Powell. He's another person that's an entrepreneur. He's a great family man, a great father, a great husband, and a great businessman, entrepreneur, that when he has his mind set on something, he's full focused, and he has an idea, and it comes to what's the word? Fruition.
Fruition.
And at one point he's like, I want to make an energy drink, right? And okay, and sure enough, he designed the can. He made a can, and he called it Skaterade.
Right? Like
and
that.
It got so big, it was selling all over the place, that he even was sponsoring some motocross riders. He had a full rig. The guys were riding for Skaterade, and then all of a sudden Gatorade took wind of it.
Oh no!
And they're like, hey, that's a little too close to Gatorade, and they sued him. And Solomon's just like a little small company, and Gatorade's a huge company, and it didn't matter how, Gatorade's huge. They're a monster, so they could just keep draining all his funds by taking legal action. And then Solomon just said, forget about it. You guys win. So, but do I find that as a success? Yeah, because it took an idea that he wanted to have his own energy drink, and he made it happen. And to me, even though he got a cease and desist and wasn't able to make that anymore, to me it's a success because he brought something, an idea, and made it happen to a product that he could hold in his hand. And this is what it is. It's called Skaterade.
That's very
So I
cool.
thought that's a very successful story.
And Solomon Aga was one of the guys that I looked up to in skateboarding too, because he's pretty much could ride. I couldn't figure out if it was regular footed or goofy footed. He did everything. I was like, which way is he? How can he all? Wait, I thought he was regular footed.
Yeah, he
just
made a switch stance street skating very popular, and he focused on that, and that's what's kind of separated him. And at one point, he became skateboarder of the year, or Thrasher, for Thrasher magazine, skater of the year, and that's huge in skateboarding. And then one day he said, I want to make a pizza joint. And now here he is. He's got a place in LA, and now he opened one up in Japan, and I think he's going to open up a few more. And it just shows you, with hard work and dedication, you can make your dreams come true.
Yeah. It's interesting that all three of us here are skateboarders, and we're talking about Solomon Aga, who's also a skateboarder. Do you think that being a skateboarder early on in those formidable years when it takes a lot, say the kickflip, for example, we're out front of the house and no one's coaching us and no one's pushing us. We want it. And we tried the first time and we don't give up. You try, you fail, you try again, you try again, you try again. And before you know it, you're landing a kickflip. And now you're landing it off the curb, and now you're landing it down some stairs. I wonder if that's something there that we've brought into, or at least in the case of Cab and Solomon and God and Alan here, is that something that we bring into our lives, that it's okay to take these steps, to fail and move forward? Is that something that maybe sharpened your sword in your success, Cab?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I've learned a lot of different traits through skateboarding, and what it takes to become a great skateboarder and what separates you from the rest. But in that, there's a big responsibility of, people looking up to you and how you represent yourself. And it's not so much about talent, but it's how you treat people, and you can't ever forget where you came from. I don't like a lot of sports that, you start out as a kook and then all of a sudden you become super good at, and then you start looking down on people, surfing.
Achoo! Bless you.
That's the one thing I don't like about surfing is people got attitudes, man, and I don't care how local your spot is, or you think you own the spot. You were a kook when you first started. And I don't like the attitude these guys have when they get a certain talent and skill, and then they start looking down on everybody. Hey, you can't surf here. You're not good enough, but you were that dude one time. So, and so I just think that kind of attitude, don't go very far, and people remember that, so I just learned at a very young age that you just be nice to people and treat people with respect, and don't think like you're above anybody, and just and look them straight in the eye, and just treat them as a normal person, because it's a little embarrassing when people come to me, and I know that I've inspired and people have looked up to me, but then some people just act weird, and maybe they're scared or they don't know how to act, but I'm just a normal dude that I got skills in certain things because I put a lot of work into it, but I have the same struggles that anybody has that doesn't have a skill. I still struggle with all those things. I'm a human being. I bleed just like they do. I cry on a sad movie as well. I hurt, I feel pain. I try to forget about the pain, but that's what helps me sustain as an athlete And who, I had no clue I'd still be doing the things that I'm doing at age 56. I was told at a very young age that my career was going to be over at 21.
Wow.
I was
Who said
18,
that?
and a friend of mine that worked at the skate shop, he's like, I know you're 18 now, and you've been sponsored for a few years. So what are you going to do after you're 21? And I'm like, I thought about like, I don't know what I'm going to
Well,
do.
it was kind of true back then, though. Like I think
It was,
the advent of things like social media and YouTube has really kind of allowed people to extend their careers, like your influence, that you've kind of been able to maintain. And it's so cool to see because obviously you've had so much more to offer since 21, right?
yeah.
And you've brought so much more to the community because you've had these venues. But maybe back then, like, it was hard to foresee that, right?
Well, it's true.
Like none of us saw this.
Well, back then it was true for them. It wasn't true for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, there you go.
It was true for them.
It's
Yeah.
like that person was trying to put you in his or her thought box, but
For
not
sure.
yours.
And I wasn't going to go there,
Yeah.
just like when vert skating died and all the vert skaters thought that their careers were over, just because vert skating died in the late 80s, I wasn't going to give up. I wanted to still continue to be a professional skateboarder, so I had to learn how to street skate, and I had to learn I had to go the direction of the sport, the lifestyle, and I didn't fight it, I just worked harder, and I learned how to street skate and try to maintain. So in a sense, I consider myself a trendy person. I go with trends. There's some that I get glued to and some that I don't want to be glued to. But if I wasn't a trendy person, I'd be stuck in the same place, So obviously people want to be ahead of the curve. They want to be ahead of the trends and to say like, I started this trend and now everyone follows me. But I'm not ashamed of saying that I follow trends and I follow people because that's how I get influenced, and that's what makes me me. That's what makes me diverse.
It's an exchange, right? It's an exchange. Yeah. I do like your don't slip on the drip, your cab fit, your outfits that you'll post.
Oh, that's
like,
a joke.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's pretty awesome. I like crack up about it.
I'm trying to be hip with the lingo at 56.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool. Like, no, I get it. It's just like I appreciate it. I think it's pretty cool.
It's serious in the sense I'm trying to promote the products that people give me, but it's a joke how I represent, So like when people like when I show myself street skating, and I talk about myself in third person, like Street Cab made an appearance because that's what they label me as. So I just go with it, I don't fight it, and so it's just fun. I love bringing smiles to people's faces, and if like me just olling or kick flipping is putting a huge smile on someone's face, I'm going to post something about it, but even like stuff with my dog and stuff, people love Oliver just because he's just so cute.
Yeah.
And he's a fun dog and he does funny things. He cracks me up all the time. Right? You crack me up?
He does.
Yeah. Am I talking to you?
For the folks who can't see the live, Cap's talking to Oliver, and Oliver's shaking his head, like doing the dog head. Isaac Gomez on here says, going back to the Yoshimura, he says, I love their pipes on my 2-stroke.
Yep.
And you also got another fellow, MTB Rad Dad, saying that he has, for moto, he has a 450, I believe he said. Oh, yeah, he's got a 450X.
Nice. I think that might be a trail bike.
It might be. Adam, is that a trail bike? He's probably going to tell me right here.
If it has a headlight, maybe it's a trail bike.
Could
I'm not
be.
so much into trail riding. I'm more into riding tracks because I'm short and I haven't messed with the suspension too much and I can't even touch the ground, So when I'm at a complete stop, on my bike, I'm on the ground. You know,
God.
my feet don't touch. So I'm trying to get a proper trail bike from Kawasaki, so I can have that separately and not bring my motocross bike, my track bike on the trails. You know, set that up separately, set it up differently.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, look, sounds like that's what Adam has. He's grew up motocross and track, so he probably has a bike for each. That's pretty awesome. Oh, look at this. Look who we got on the line, guys. Miss Don
Sabo,
Zabo. What's up,
yeah.
Zabo? He said, yeah, even Oliver says, what's up, Zabo? Great riding with you guys today. Glad we got some in before the rain got us. Yoo-hoo. Yeah,
Nice.
that
Yeah,
was a rad
even
day.
Sabo's trying to bite my style doing cartwheels.
So, folks, if you don't know what what Cab's referring to, he had a nasty looking crash. If you want to check it out, go to Don Zabo's Instagram. He put a video together for it, and it looked nasty. But in typical ninja style of Cab's athleticism, hops right back up. But it did nick your thumb a little bit, a little sore on your thumb from it, but it was nasty. So, Cab, if you want to explain what happened there, because the video is crazy looking. So, but you're at Greer and you're going down. I think it was Overdrive. It looked like.
Yeah, and you know, stuff comes up really quick. You know, you got little doubles in the turns, so you have to be really prepared. You have to look ahead. And there was kind of a blind double, and I went over the double, but I went off to the left side of it. And right when I landed, there was a huge boulder just sitting right there to the left, and I couldn't go anywhere, and I just slammed right into it and totally flipped over the bars, bent the front sprocket, bent the derailleur. So I had a bunch of guys trying to bend it back with a rock, and it was just tweaked, you know. And every time I get to a certain gear, the chain would fall off. And when I try to pedal, and I totally stubbed my toe on the ground, missing a pedal, and
Dang.
it was a bad day. It was a bad day, and for some reason, my bike, I've gotten a couple flats when I've been with you guys as well. You know,
I can understand why I'm not going to get an invite for the next ride, guys.
Exactly. I'm like the guy that breaks down all the time, but I have a whole crew that knows how to fix everything. So I'm just sitting there with my phone, checking my Instagram. You guys finished with that yet? Yeah. No, I'm documenting my crew fixing my bike.
Right.
But it's just great to have guys that are, you know, that have mechanical skills, that know how to fix things right on the, you know, right on the point.
Trail side.
A lot of guys carry, you know, extra things of air. They got extra tubes. They got their tools. I haven't gotten quite there yet with the fanny pack. So hopefully I'll get that. So in case, you know, one day someone else breaks down, I can help them, you know, repay the favor.
Yeah. Alan, you carry your you carry sometimes a fanny pack with you with all that equipment in there.
I do now. I tried to go for a while without it because I was like, it's fine. It's like a day ride. I haven't gotten a flat in years. And then like on the one day I was out by myself on Overdrive, like probably close to the same place.
Yeah.
I didn't crash or anything, but just the back tire just got a hole like right in the center, right between two of the treads. I think like it almost looked like one of the treads started coming off. And I could not get that thing to seal. Like it wouldn't seal. So it was the hike of shame all the way.
Shame.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys realize how fast we go, but it's a lot slower hiking. It takes a long time. I have a lot more respect for hikers now because, like, wow, they do some freaking work.
Yeah.
But it did allow me to like sight some new lines, and actually, I ended up on Distortion. Like, I took like this kind of hiking trail down, but then I ended up like walking the bottom half of Distortion. There are so many features that I had never seen before and so many lines that I'd never taken before. And now the way I ride the bottom of Distortion is totally different. Like there's jumps that they just look like when you're coming at them, they just look like a rock.
Mhm.
But if you look at it from the side, they're jumps. Yeah, so I wouldn't suggest it, but but sometimes walking a part of the trail can actually be pretty helpful.
MTV Rad
I
Dad's
should.
laughing with you.
That's funny. I should actually head out. The ladies' home, so gonna spend some time with my wife. It's been a pleasure to be on and chat with you. We'll get on the trail together soon, y'all. Yeah.
Yep. Good to see you, Alan.
Good to see you, Alan. MTB Alan, ladies and gentlemen.
Good
See
seeing
you,
you
buddy.
guys.
Good to
Bye.
see you,
See ya.
brother.
Peace.
You. So, Cab, that was a great treat for MTB Allen. I know we haven't had a chance to see him in a while, so I was glad to have him jump on with us. I wanted to go back to the other part of the product. So we're talking about your bike and that crash, and it ended up being a good thing because luckily enough, in that crew that day was Jeff Taylor, the president of YT, the YT Mill or YT Industries here in Southern California, and talk about a perfect person to have in the crew. You bend the decoy up off of a jump into a boulder, and he ends up taking the bike with him back to YT headquarters. And lo and behold, we show up today, and he wheels out this beautifully rebuilt, polished, cleaned, upgraded masterpiece of a YT decoy. I think he upgraded you from the YT, was it the base or the comp?
The
And you
base
got
model.
upgrade base model, and he rolled out your same frame, but in the pro with all the pro stuff, all the pro tune. It was beautiful.
No, it was awesome, and it felt great today. I felt like a pro.
You look like a pro too, jumping everything and going fast. But when you looked at mountain bikes, and I wanted to give some love to YT, what drew you to YT for one of your first mountain bikes, getting into the sport?
Joey Yates drew me to IT.
Okay, yeah, Joey Yates,
Yeah,
love that guy.
he actually was talking a lot about them, and he told me that the person in charge who runs it was Jeff Taylor, who used to work at Fox Racing. So, which Jeff is an old skate buddy as well. We used to be teammates back on Powell in the early '90s. So me and Jeff go way far back in the skateboard industry. We were teammates on Powell Peralta.
It's amazing.
And then he left and started working in the skateboard industry for other companies, and he got in the shoe industry. And I didn't see Jeff for the longest time. And I show up at Paula one day, and he pulls up on a dirt bike. And I'm like, hey, he's like, hey, what's up? And he took his goggles off, and I'm like, Jeff Taylor, what are you doing on a dirt bike? He's like, I work for Fox Racing. I'm like,
Wow.
what? Are you kidding me? So then, started working with Jeff through motocross and through the gear, what Fox Racing does, and he was telling me this, how they were taking over Paula and how they were going to, take over the track and make it more family friendly and make the tracks better and just more rider friendly and enjoyable place to be. And he was there for several years, and then he got let go, which was a bummer, on Fox's part, because Jeff did such a great job in that company. The CEO had brought his job with him, so that's why Jeff, you know, um, got let go. But then he landed at YT, which was even more of a blessing for him. And I believe he loves his job. He loves the company. He loves what they're about. And so that's my connection back to him. And,
Wow.
and Joey, Joey Yates is a gentleman that I ride mountain bikes with a lot, with my friend Kim Boyle, and he was telling us about San Clemente and the trails and YT's there. We should go there and try one of their bikes. And so I went there with them and met up. And after I tried their e-bike, I just fell in love with it.
Yeah, it's such a great product. That decoy, I mean, it's German engineered. So if you like sports cars, you all know what the German engineering is all about there. But the bike, it's beautiful. And Jeff Taylor leading the charge there. I mean, what a great person to have in that position with his dynamic background, and also a skateboarder coming up as well. And not only does he hold the position of the president there, but dude can ride. I mean, he towed us into pretty much everything for the first part of the morning, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, yeah. He's gotten a lot.
Yeah.
He's gotten really, really good at mountain bike riding, and it just shows him how much he puts into the back into the company. The one thing that's great about the brand that will cater to the consumer is their direct to consumer. So that
Oh
also
yeah.
drops the price down. Obviously, they're not shop friendly. They don't sell to shops, so they're able to compete with these guys that have to mark up, the prices. Which I guess maybe some people would look down upon that because you can't buy it. You can't go to a shop and buy it. You have to buy it directly from them. But then for the consumer, it also brings it down to a
Mm-hmm.
price that they can afford because these bikes aren't cheap.
Mm-hmm.
They got a
Mm-hmm.
high price on them, um, and because of the performance and because what they have to offer, a lot of pedal assist bikes are in on the high thousands,
Mm-hmm.
range where it's almost as much as a dirt bike, you know.
Yeah.
So I can see why people frown upon them. For one, they're expensive and maybe they're not affordable. So
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to try it or they don't even want to think about getting one because they can't afford it, that's understandable. But if you can afford it, I would definitely get one because it's going to make your mountain bike experience that much more enjoyable. And you do get a workout
Mm-hmm.
and you tried one for your first time today. I mean,
Yeah.
what's your review?
It was definitely smiles for miles. I was like mind boggled because I was actually having to read lines climbing at the same time as we were reading lines going downhill. We had enough speed going uphill that I had to read my lines, to enter corners sometimes, and that was a blast. I think at one point I mentioned to you, Cab, I think we've done everything that we did in 3 hours on our analog bike. We just did all that in 45 minutes, and it just let us have more time to play, you know?
Yeah,
We covered more ground. I would say we went faster, farther, jumped higher, got up to
yeah,
speed quicker, and it's like one of those things that I never realized that it was available to do. I always just kind of thought I'm not going to get a workout. It's kind of a pedal assist bike. Do I need that? And after today, I realize it's a different ride. It's
yeah,
if you're trying to compare it to your analog bike, it's not a fair comparison because it's a whole different experience.
yeah,
And if you can
exactly.
afford to have both, that'd be great to have an analog and an e-bike. But if you can afford one or the other, I would say now e-bike is a high contender for a lot of the population. I want to say for people who are just getting into the sport and maybe out of shape. You have the off mode, you have the eco, you have the trail, you have the boost mode. So you have many different facets to really assist you in getting into the sport. If you're in shape and you ride, you could just ride farther in the same period of time, like we did today. I mean, I burned 1,300 calories. I'm like, how is that possible in
Well,
what we
there's
did?
well, there's three modes on the bike too. So you put it on the lowest setting, you're definitely going to get a workout. You know,
Definitely so.
and if you
Definitely
you
so.
turn it completely off, you even get even a gnarlier workout because it's a heavy bike.
Yeah,
You
I mean
know.
that decoy. I mean, a lot of e-bikes are like 50 pounds. I think the decoy is 51. The specs on it are like 51 point something. Um, but I never felt a single pound difference though going downhill, jumping and all that stuff. It felt like a
Yeah,
regular playful. It was playful. Like
yeah.
at speed, it was playful, which was awesome. So yeah, my review is definitely smiles for miles, as Joey Yates would say. And you can go twice as far, twice as fast, twice as big on the e-bike, and you still get that workout.
Yeah.
which is awesome. I love that. I love the YT decoy. Love it, love it.
It's
I'm gonna have
amazing
to.
machine. It's an
I
amazing
know.
machine.
I know. I came home and I looked at my wife, and she's instead of saying like, all these other things, she goes, "No, no, you're not gonna buy one right now." I was like, okay. Well, I have work to do, but
Well, now you got something to look forward to.
exactly. Let's roll real quick. We're about an hour and 40 into it, and I know the kiddos there. You have the kiddos. I'm gonna be respectful of your time, so I want to move over to the last two things of the show. And thank you, folks, for being on with us. So from Product Spotlight, we spotlighted the YT decoy as well as Yoshimura. Keep an eye out for the Yoshimura pedals. Look for the campaign with Cab in it because he just recently did a shoot on it, so you got kind of a little sneak peek into that. But let's talk about real quickly YouTubers. You're getting into mountain biking, Cab. Who have been some of the YouTubers when you sit back and you watch a mountain bike YouTube video? Who are you normally tuning into?
Actually, no one really particular. I was actually looking at a lot of mountain bike fails.
Oh.
and the reason why I watch those is because I want to know what's capable of happening if I get in a predicament.
Right. Yeah.
So it's actually good to see a lot of crashes to see what people are doing wrong, and go like, okay, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think Pink Bike has the Friday fails, or one of them, GMBN, I think, has Friday fails. Some of those are pretty nasty.
But I saw some YouTube videos on Whistler because I want to go there and ride there, and I saw some on Snow Summit. Just some more of like just terrain, people's terrain, and what they're riding. But maybe I'll get into more people's personal reviews and I don't know. I'm all new to this as well. So.
I love it. I love it. Speaking of new to the market, we were talking about this Yoshimura. John W. I just peeped him. He said those pedals look sick. Yeah, John W. I hear you.
They're great.
They're awesome. They're coming soon. I'm thinking, I can't remember if they said April timeframe, but they're definitely coming soon. They'll be here in 21 for sure. They'll be here in 21. Yeah. Okay, Cab. Ending it with I'm going to add this to the stream. Guys, we're ending this off with the funny questions just to see what the mind of Cab, how he answers these questions. Are you ready, Mr. Caballero?
Sure.
Okay. He's like, oh no, Mark, what are you getting me into? Okay, question 1, and we'll go through 5, and there's no right or wrong answer. Question 1, is cereal a soup? Why or why not?
I would say no.
Okay.
Because soups usually tend to have a broth.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And soups you can sometimes eat hot or cold. And I've never known anyone who like to eat hot cereal unless they're eating oatmeal or something. But normally it's cold,
This is very true. Yeah,
and
cold
soups,
and not brothy.
And cereal is just a bunch of sugar.
Yes.
If you buy those box cereal brands, I mean they're pretty much sugar is what helps sell it, unless you're eating whatever.
Yeah, getting back to that
or something.
Right. It's getting back to that diet that we were talking about.
Yeah,
trying to get away from the sugars.
No, a cereal is not a soup.
Cereal is not a soup. You heard it here from Steve Caballero.
Yeah, it's definitely not. My favorite soup is like chicken tortilla soup. That's
yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. Question 2, and folks, this is all out of good fun. So if your name happens to be one of these names, we're not trying to hurt your feelings. This is just out of fun. What is the sexiest name and what is the least sexiest name?
Cab's pretty sexy.
Cab's pretty sexy.
That's a pretty sexy name.
That's a very sexy name. And there's many versions of it, so you're never gonna get where you got street cab, MTB cab, music cab, art cab, a nutrition cab. And then what about the least sexy name?
Shoot, I don't know. I don't think I have actually heard of one. I mean, I don't know.
There you go. Cab's a lover of all names.
Yeah,
See? He loves
yeah.
everybody.
I love everyone.
This is very true. Cab's he's a lover. He's a lover. Question 3. What secret conspiracy would you like to start?
Shoot. Well, if I start, it won't be a secret anymore.
Right? It's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Maybe I won't start one and keep it a secret.
Right.
I'll let you know when I not want to keep it a secret, and then I'll let you know what it is.
Cab may or may not have started a conspiracy already, but it is a secret. He can neither nor deny or. Okay, Cab. Question 4. What's invisible but you wish you could see?
I wish people could see the love of God.
Ooh, I like that.
You know,
Why so?
I wish people could see how God loves us and how He created us and what He is trying to show us with our lives and how to live and how to treat people and to show a person what true love is. A lot of people have an idea what love is, but I don't think they really understand and grasp the concept of it because people love a lot of things that are meaningless,
Right.
you know, and people receive a lot of love. They think that it's love, but it's not really love, you know. But if people could really see and understand God's love and how He wants to show us how to be loving, that's something that I wish people could see. I can see it now because I'm a believer and I have faith in God. I couldn't see it before because I didn't want to have anything to do with it. You know, I had a false impression of who God is and what people think of Him. But now I have a clearer picture. So my eyes have been opened to what the Bible says, who God is.
Wow. I love that. And what was the difference that you can see with the Cab who can see it now versus the one who couldn't see it? What was that difference in love?
That it's unconditional. True love is unconditional.
Nice.
That means there's nothing attached to it. A person who loves someone else unconditionally is a person who will do things for somebody or something without getting anything in return.
I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's unconditional.
That's a great way to live on it, and it feels great to know that love is there. So you don't ever have to, feel like it's not with you
Well, the
or
love's
you're not
there
loved.
if you're open to it. You know, a lot of people think that they need things for people to love them, or they think they don't recognize their self-worth, and they let society dictate that. When people are more important than they feel that they are, and you don't really need someone else to show you how important you are. You know, God will show you how important you are by how He feels about you. You know, we try to receive love from people to make us see how our importance. We use people to make us feel important. And when you understand God's love, He shows you that it's not about your fame or your fortune or your achievements. It's about the conditioning of your heart and how you view people and how you take others people's criticism and how they view you. You know,
Yeah.
it's very it's very easy to love people who love you, but try loving people who hate you.
Yeah.
You
That
know what
could
I'm
be
saying?
very difficult. Yeah. That
Try
unconditional.
yeah, try loving people who want to hurt you. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah.
Um, but it's very easy to love people who pour love on you, but that's not
Right.
true love. You
Yeah.
know, that's that love that's a love with a condition. But
Right.
true love is unconditional.
Man, that's good. That's deep stuff. I've never had anybody answer that question like that. That is awesome.
You probably
If
haven't had a Bible thumper on your show either.
I may have, but they
I
may have
just
kept
thumped
it
you
as
with the Bible, bro.
you thumped us all, but that was a good thump. That was a great thump. Yeah, things that you can't see. God's unconditional love. Yep, that's a great one. That's a great one. Man, Steve, it's been awesome to have you on the show, and I really appreciate your time. I know you got the kids this week. You had a busy day, and then a bunch of stuff. So thanks for jumping on. I know there's a lot of people who will hear this and smile and laugh, and also end it with this unconditional love message that you gave here at the end. I think that's amazing. Um, in
I didn't
closing,
write that. I didn't write that.
no,
I
I
learned I learned that.
it,
I'm just sharing it with the knowledge and wisdom I learned. So that's what I'm called to do.
yeah, that was awesome. That was an awesome answer. It's great to get that out there.
Don't
Absolutely,
thank me, thank
absolutely.
God.
Thank God that Cap said that on the show. So, Cap, in closing, is there anything or anybody that you want to shout out to or say for the folks that are listening out there?
Shoot, I'm just thankful to be alive and to have all the relationships that I've had my whole life. That's the most important thing to me. I think that's
Mhm.
what goes further in life is the your connection with people and the people that you touch and reach out to and help and encourage and inspire. And you know, I I go back and forth on a lot of things that I post on Instagram, and it's definitely a place to show off of everything that you have in your life and show people. You want to share things with people, but I also want to encourage people that they can have the same things that I have accumulated or gotten, by just having the right mindset and just having a nice, positive, loving attitude towards people and just work hard. Everything that I've gotten in life hasn't just been given to me. I've worked super hard my whole life, and people don't see the behind the scenes of how much work that I've put into my career. I mean, my life might look grand now and it looks like I'm playing all the time, and I probably am because I built up a career that I actually can do that, you know. But I put years of hard work and blood and sweat and stress to get to where I am, and I
Mhm.
still do that every single day. I'm always still thinking of new ways to reinvent myself, discover new things, learn new things, progress. Um, so, I just want to be an inspiration to people, and I want to give people hope because God gives me hope
Mhm.
to live, to wake up the next day and not stress on bills or stress on life and just enjoy and not take things for granted.
Mhm.
I love my kids. I love what they give me. They've shown me a lot about myself and how I could be a better person, a better parent. um, it's everything's a learning process. Becoming a parent, becoming a husband, and that's taken a lot of work. It's taken a lot of letting go of my ego and my pride and being humble, to change and to become a better person. Because if we have a not so good upbringing and people who inspire us, we end up trying to fix ourselves our whole life to change to be a better person. And it says in the Bible, it says it's better to build up a boy than to repair a man. So just bring up your kids right and bring them up, and you won't have to repair them as they get older. And I think a lot of people lose sight of that. And it's a big responsibility becoming a parent. I mean, when you have a child, you have to look after that child, and you have to give them the best things that they can to cope with the crazy world that we live in. The world we live in is crazy.
Yeah.
It is insane. The things that people come up with to hurt people, to take advantage of people. You have to prepare your kids. You have to prepare yourself to the worst outcomes. So wisdom is very important when it comes to learning about life and the people in it. There's good people and there's evil.
Yeah.
And it's all within us too. I've had evil thoughts before. I've had good thoughts. It's just a part of who we are. It's our makeup. Nobody's perfect. And some people learn things the harder way. Because they don't want to take advice. They don't want to listen to wisdom. And I'm just here to try to share wisdom with people and show that live in a certain way, you can accomplish good things and do good things in this life that we have. Is short. Our life's short. Like, man, the years are going by so quick. I can't believe, like, being in my 50s right now, and I'm gonna be 60 soon. I just know it. It's around the corner.
Fast, yeah.
And then 70 will come. And hopefully 80 will come. Who knows? But life's about making right choices. And just looking ahead. Just like I'm learning mountain biking. You gotta look ahead for the next turn or the next rut or the next double. And that's how you're going to keep yourself safe. Looking ahead.
Yeah, man, I think that was a great answer too to the question earlier. What would you tell the 14-year-old Cab if you could talk to him today? That was a beautiful way you just put it. You just got a big old U from Griffin, Griffin UMTB. That was awesome. Cab, for the folks who want to follow you in your story, where can they find you on what social media platforms? I know Instagram.
Yeah, pretty much on Instagram. I have a website, stevecaballero.com, that tells my story a little bit. And I have an online shop that you can find products there. And all the people I support. There you go.
Steve Caballero shirt.
Yeah, but I spend a lot of time on Instagram. That's pretty much where my fan base is, and that's where I try to answer questions that people have for me, as best I can. I mean, it's a full-time job, trying to be social on social media.
Yeah, I think the last I looked, you had like almost 700,000 followers. I mean, you're creeping up on 1 million people. That's going to be a full-time job to answer everybody. But it's also a great place for people to follow you and what you're up to and how you inspire people, and to continue to inspire by just watching Cab be Cab. And I'm grateful. I'm very grateful to be your friend and to have you to ride with in the mountain bike world. I think I've been blessed to have you and run across you. So thank you to Joey Yates for that as well. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for the show. That's a good one to end on. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Caballero, everybody. You guys have a great night. Thank you for being on. Talk to you all on the next episode.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Cab.